The Amazon is the world's largest tropical rainforest. It spreads over 9 Latin American countries and is often called the lungs of the planet.
Venture into the Amazon, and you're entering a world where everything seems strange and dangerous. It's not just about the many different plants and animals. It's about surviving each day without getting hurt. Life here isn't about being tough. These threats that can turn life into a waking nightmare with a single encounter. This jungle is home to an incredible 390 billion trees and stories of massive snakes and hidden rivers that don't seem to follow the rules. Join us on a thrilling journey to uncover the Amazon's biggest mysteries, where every step brings us closer to understanding this incredible place. Chapter 1. The Walking Forest. Hidden within the vast, often overlooked stretches of a huge forest, there's a collection of odd and mysterious things, just waiting for some adventurous soul to stumble upon them. Imagine finding something as bizarre as a giant whale, long dead and decomposing, far away from any ocean, or an enormous, abandoned city built by creatures of a size we can hardly fathom. These are the kinds of things you'd expect to see only in the most imaginative fantasy books, not in the world we live in. Yet here we are, expected to accept these incredible stories without even a hint of doubt. But then, the story gets even more bizarre with the tale of a giant snake. Yes, it sounds like something that would make you roll your eyes. We're now diving into the story of the Wani warriors, a group so engrossed in their own legends that they would have you believe giant anacondas are their source of strength. Believe it or not, it's like we've suddenly found ourselves in a fantasy TV show with a limited budget, deep in the Amazon jungle, surrounded by animals that would make most people run away. These warriors live as if the jungle is their own playground. They look down on the modern world with a mix of disdain and pity, as if their life, closely connected with nature and massive snakes, is the ultimate achievement of humanity. Then comes a bold BBC journalist, plunging into this so-called paradise, probably hoping to find some deep tribal knowledge, or, at the very least, an interesting story to tell. This modern explorer joins these self-styled protectors of ancient traditions, likely more attracted by the chance for an unusual story than a true belief in their tales of snake power. As if the jungle wasn't already filled with enough mysteries and drama, this group of local celebrities has become a worldwide sensation, claiming to have captured the largest anaconda ever seen in the Amazon. We're not talking about a slightly bigger snake that you might find in your garden. According to them, this snake was a massive 10 meters long, a creature so large it could star in its own horror movie. Anacondas are known for their size and ability to scare people, but this particular one supposedly broke all records, weighing an incredible 880 pounds and measuring a meter across. If this doesn't qualify as headline-worthy news about giant snakes, then what does? These tales from the jungle are so outlandish and exaggerated, they almost dare you to question whether such giant creatures really exist, or, more likely, to doubt the exaggerated stories that locals might tell for a bit of excitement or fame. Next, we find ourselves at the infamous Boiling River, a name as straightforward as it is unsettling. Imagine a river so hot it's always boiling, like a bizarre, natural pot of water heated by Mother Nature herself, hidden within the hot embrace of the Amazon. This isn't just a warm stream, it's a deadly, wide, and deep flow of water boiling at an extreme 210 degrees. To put it in perspective, think about your morning coffee, which is too hot to drink without blowing on it, and then imagine that heat intensified to a level that could burn you with just a quick touch. In the high forests, where the oceanic people live, there's a scorching river they believe is warmed by a giant snake named Yakumama, thought to be heated by the sun. In reality, the river's heat comes from the Earth's geothermal energy and is lethal to anything that falls in. This place seems like it's straight out of a fantasy film, with steam rising and mythical creatures possibly lurking in the fog. And then there are the walking trees, the forest's answer to those who can't sit still. Known as Socratea exoriza, or walking palms for those who prefer simplicity, these trees are far from ordinary. They have ambitions, moving through the forest in search of sunlight, like slow, determined travelers. Growing up to 25 meters tall, these trees stand out with their unique stilt roots, which have puzzled scientists. How do they move? They lean towards the light, pursuing the sun in a slow, years-long dance. It's a slow-motion ballet of the forest, showing either nature's patience or its sense of humor. But the strangeness doesn't end with their quest for sunlight. These trees also have a more practical use for locals, as a tool in the kitchen. In a surprising twist, the bark of the walking palm is used as a makeshift cheese grater. When life gives you tall, sunlight-loving trees, why not use them to grate cheese? It's these peculiarities of nature, from boiling rivers to trees that walk, that keep us wondering, either amused or skeptically shaking our heads at the endless oddities presented by the natural world. The story thickens, or so they say, in a place where even spiders get more credit than they deserve. Chapter 2: Jungle Mysteries and Oceanic Giants. Welcome to Nature's Oddities, where we venture into the not-so-delightful but certainly oversized world of the Goliath bird-eater. This creature takes the cake for being one of the heaviest spiders, tipping the scales at an impressive 170 grams. Forget your average, everyday spider hanging in the corner of your room. This behemoth is more like the sumo wrestler of the spider world, and yet, with all this heft and menace, it's dubbed the bird-eater. Spoiler alert, it's a misleading nickname, since its diet leans more towards the insect side of the menu. So much for truth in advertising. Let's break down the so-called ninja skills of this oversized arachnid, shall we? Picture this behemoth of a spider lumbering through the dense underbrush, pretending it's some sort of stealthy assassin from the animal kingdom. Despite its daunting size, it manages to move with a silence that's unsettlingly out of character. But let's not elevate this creature to the status of a covert operative from a high-octane thriller. It's merely a large spider that has mastered the art of not stomping around like a four-legged elephant. Now, about those legs, they're not just appendages, they're like built-in, ultra-sensitive vibration sensors. Imagine having legs so attuned to the Earth's whispers that you could feel a fly's heartbeat from several feet away. Yes, it's a marvel of natural engineering, but let's face it, the whole concept has a certain eerie quality to it, doesn't it? Here we have a creature that has turned into a silent predator of the leafy floor, a master of the art of the silent hunt. When hunger strikes, this spider turns into a fast food enthusiast of the bug world. With its inch-long fangs, yes, you heard that right, an inch, it delivers a cocktail of neurotoxin that's game over for its prey. But here's the kicker: the way it eats. Forget about the civilized manner of using teeth. The Goliath bird-eater has decided that's too mainstream. Instead, it prefers to vomit digestive fluids onto its meal, turning it into a bug smoothie. Bon appetit, right? It's nature's version of a horror show dining experience. Oh, let's navigate the oddities that the jungle throws our way, shall we? Picture this: a hulking humpback whale, a beast more at home in the endless stretches of the sea, somehow ends up as an oversized, misplaced ornament amidst the dense foliage, far from the comforting hug of ocean waves. There it lies, a colossal mass, all 26 tons of it, not gracefully slicing through the waters, but instead sprawled lifelessly among the green, serving as an impromptu feast for the local scavengers. Talk about a bizarre twist from Mother Nature, seemingly tossing out random events just to shake things up. This juvenile whale, merely a baby by their standards, somehow winds up as the newest, most bewildering addition to a Brazilian jungle scene, stranded a whole 50 feet from its aquatic cradle. The mind reels at the thought of the freakish surge of sea and storm that must have conspired to deposit it there. And yet, despite the wild speculation, we're all just grasping at straws here. The real story behind this gargantuan fish out of water remains as mystifying as a ghost ship, with solid answers as scarce as a straightforward plot in a soap opera. And then, switch gears to the miniature world of the jungle, where size clearly doesn't dictate the level of threat. Enter the deadly poison dart frog, a marvel of nature that could fit comfortably on your fingertip, yet packs a lethal punch. Don't be fooled by its diminutive stature or the dazzling array of colors it sports. This is no mere insect. It's as if the frog is parading in haute couture of the animal kingdom, yet beneath that eye-catching exterior lies a lethal arsenal, a veritable walking chemical warfare unit. With enough venom to lay waste to 20,000 mice, this frog transforms its vibrant skin into a deadly garment, a stark warning sign that screams, "Do not touch." It's the ultimate paradox of beauty and danger, a living, breathing contradiction, a testament to the jungle's law of deception and surprise. Here lies the jungle's very own forbidden zone, marked not by fences, but by the sheer potency of a creature no bigger than a pebble. It's a stark reminder that appearances can be fatally deceiving in the grand theater of nature, and the smallest actors often play the most menacing roles. And yet, life goes on for this pint-sized assassin. It's out there, dining on a menu of crickets, fruit flies, ants, and termites, catching them with a tongue that strikes with the speed of lightning. And the most mind-boggling part? It's completely immune to its own toxic arsenal. Yes, in the midst of the jungle's endless dangers, this frog hops along, untouchable, a true VIP of the animal kingdom. But don't let its diminutive size and dazzling colors fool you. This is no pet. It's a paradox wrapped in yellow and blue, a creature that's as beautiful as it is deadly. So, while it may be tempting to admire up close, remember, beauty in the jungle can be deceiving, and sometimes the smallest packages contain the most lethal surprises. Step right up and meet the Amazonian marvel, the basilisk lizard, often hailed as the reptilian answer to a superhero, with abilities that seem to defy the basic laws of physics. This little creature has earned itself the nickname Jesus Lizard, thanks to its almost miraculous ability to sprint on water surfaces without so much as a dip. Now, before you start thinking it's performing some kind of magic trick, let's break down this so-called superpower. First off, this lizard isn't walking on water. No, that would be too pedestrian. It's practically racing across it, hitting speeds that would make a sprinter envious, all thanks to its lightweight frame and disproportionately long toes. But here's where it gets sciencey. The basilisk has evolved some nifty flaps of skin between those toes, which unfurl and create enough surface tension to hold it up, turning water into its personal racetrack. It's a three-step process: a slap, a stroke, and a lift, executed with the precision of a seasoned athlete, allowing it to glide across water like it's nothing. Scientists, in their never-ending quest for knowledge, have spent countless hours observing these lizards, trying to decode the secrets of their aquatic acrobatics. And while it's all in the name of science, you've got to wonder if they're just a bit envious of this lizard's cool party trick. It's like nature decided to have a bit of fun, giving these creatures a skill set that seems straight out of a comic book. But let's not get carried away with romanticizing the whole thing. Sure, it's fascinating, a real crowd pleaser, but at the end of the day, it's just an animal adapting to its environment in the most efficient way it knows how. The basilisk doesn't know it's breaking any records or defying any human expectations. It's just trying to escape predators or snag its next meal. The fact that it looks like a superhero while doing it, well, that's just a bonus for us humans, always on the lookout for something to marvel at. Under the endless green, more surprises? Sure, because what's a jungle without a little shock value? Chapter 3. The strange turtle that eats like a vacuum. If you ever thought that frogs carrying poison were the most deceptive trick nature had up its sleeve, you're in for a surprise. Let's take a journey into the shadowy world of electric eels, nature's own version of a hidden electric trap lurking beneath the surface of the water. Picture an animal that can suddenly zap you with an incredible 650 volts, much like getting shocked by touching live electrical wires without gloves, and there's no emergency electrician to help you out. But to speak plainly, these eels wouldn't be winning any awards for their looks. Imagine an animal that looks more like a long, squirming tube of muscle, with a head that's as plain as a flattened pie and skin that screams, "Do not touch," in big, bold letters. But the truly astonishing part? Despite their unimpressive appearance, these eels harbor a dark secret. They are living, breathing instruments of electrical mayhem. A whopping 80% of their body is dedicated to producing electricity, effectively making them mobile power stations of the underwater world. And what's the reason behind their shocking abilities? It's to dominate the murky, unforgiving waters of the Amazon, transforming their surroundings into a domain of fear. However, it's not as if these eels are using their electric shocks just for the fun of it. Inside their long, snake-like bodies are special electric organs packed with cells that could outshine any high-powered battery. This isn't just for show, it's essential for their survival. They rely on it to find their way around, hunt for food, and communicate in the dense waters they call home. For any prey unlucky enough to cross paths with them, it's the end of the line before they even realize what's happening. And predators? They might as well be signing up for their own watery grave. The underwater scene here is like a horror movie, all playing out under the guise of one of nature's wonders. Then there's the mata-mata, a real oddball in the world of nature, pretending to be just another turtle. While turtles are known for being cute and slow, the mata-mata is something else entirely. Calling it unique is an understatement. This creature is downright bizarre, a nod to a time when looks didn't matter. Its body is covered in spikes and skin flaps, making it look more like a relic from ancient times than a cute reptile. Imagine an animal that can grow as big as a meter, weighing as much as a large dog, but with the attitude of a chill retiree living in the Amazon's quieter spots. But appearances can be deceiving. The mata-mata is an expert at ambush hunting. It blends in with the water, looking like a piece of the riverbed, perfectly still until a fish makes a fatal mistake. And chewing? That's too ordinary for it. This turtle sucks in its food with the force of a vacuum cleaner going into overdrive. It seems nature loves a bit of irony, presenting us with creatures that are both strange and fierce all at once. So, while we're caught up admiring the unusual, we shouldn't overlook the relentless side of nature. Imagine entire civilizations, now just part of the jungle's vast greenery, taunting us with their silent histories. Each crumbling ruin and overgrown trail hints at the stories of those who came before us, boasting of their advanced roadways as a challenge to our modern-day hubris. They flourished, hidden and uncelebrated, for thousands of years, rivaling the splendor of the Roman Empire, but without the acclaim. Concealed in plain view, these ancient structures, especially the massive pyramids, shake up our standard historical narratives. Think about a giant pyramid, 18 meters tall, defying gravity with stone blocks heavier than a group of elephants. It's as if the ancient world left us a practical joke. Thought you knew history, did you? Local legends talk of giants, suggesting that ordinary humans couldn't possibly have accomplished such feats. Whether the tales involve giants or not, they add a layer of mystery to our past, leaving us to wonder what's myth and what's reality. Now, let's transition from the enigmatic to the mystical, with the Amazon's pink treasure, the boto, or pink river dolphin. Move over, sea dolphins. The Amazon boasts its own fascinating cetacean species. These creatures aren't just some discount version of their oceanic relatives. They're authentic mysteries of nature found in rivers close to home. They're akin to the unicorns of the aquatic world, except they're real and, notably, pink. These dolphins offer more than just a unique color. They're equipped with facial whiskers that serve as a natural sonar system, a brilliant evolutionary adaptation that lets them hunt in their murky river home. And about their color transformation, they shift from sleek gray to a vivid pink, a mark of distinction earned through life's battles and skirmishes. When their emotions run high, they light up like glowing beacons in the water. Imagine showing your feelings so vividly on your exterior. But here's the most fascinating aspect. These pink giants are not only smart and attractive, they're also the socialites of the water world. Unlike the more aloof creatures we often come across, these dolphins actively seek out human interaction, possibly understanding us better than we understand them. Visitors might arrive seeking adventure, but end up captivated by the unique opportunity to swim with these mysterious beings. So, the question stands, why settle for ordinary wildlife encounters when you can dive into the stories and charm of the Amazon's pink dolphins? Now the jungle is showing off, as if we hadn't already had our fill of its secrets. Chapter 4. The Curious Case of the Amazon's Horned Beast. Have you ever stumbled upon the term jaguarundi? These critters aren't your garden variety feline. Think of a bizarre hybrid between a weasel and a cougar, and you've got the right idea. Now, let's shift the spotlight to a peculiar member of their species, the albino jaguarundi, an oddity in her own right. Picture this: a tiny, ghostly figure amidst the greens and browns of the jungle, her fur as white as snow, eyes glowing a fierce red, an accidental specter in a land of vivid colors. Unlike the nocturnal proclivities of their larger relatives, these creatures bask in the sunlight, indulging in diurnal hunts. Imagine the irony: a bright white hunter amidst the jungle's camouflaged chaos. It's practically a punchline in the relentless comedy of nature. This rare creature was stumbled upon in Colombia, sticking out like a sore thumb. When the so-called experts laid eyes on her, the verdict was swift. The wild, with all its merciless rules and predators, was no place for such a standout. Thus, she was whisked away to what's essentially a feline witness protection program. Enter the conservation park, her new natural habitat, where she's been crowned the sole albino jaguarundi in the land. But let's cut through the fluff. Her special status is a double-edged sword, marking her as a marvel and a misfit all at once. Now, ensconced in her safe haven, our little albino is living the high life, far from the survival of the fittest drama of her ancestral grounds. Here in the conservation park, every day is a breeze, free from the natural selection's harsh scrutiny. She's become a poster child for rarity, basking in the safety and predictability of her enclosed paradise. But one has to wonder, is this existence, however plush and protected, a true life for a wild animal? She frolics in a bubble, insulated from the world's realities, an unwitting participant in a human-curated exhibit. While we pat ourselves on the back for saving her from the cruel clutches of nature, perhaps we should ponder whether we've saved her for her sake or for our own satisfaction. After all, in this so-called paradise, she's a living, breathing spectacle, far removed from the untamed life her instincts whisper to her about. Oh, the grand tale of geoglyphs, those large, cryptic sketches etched into the earth that supposedly spill the beans on ancient civilizations. Not just any old marks, but massive, supposedly awe-inspiring doodles. As the rainforest reluctantly coughs up its secrets, what do we find? More of these geoglyphs and earthworks, hinting at a time when 500,000 to a whopping 1 million souls supposedly thrived in the Amazon. But alas, the plot thickens, and not in a good way. These bustling societies met their demise not through some grand catastrophe, but by diseases that Europeans brushed off as no biggie. Quite the grim fairy tale, isn't it? Now, onto these mysterious geoglyphs unearthed in the Amazon, shaking up the stale, traditional views we've held. Thanks to the wonders of satellite imagery, these elaborate patterns have come to light, though they're shrouded in mystery. What were they for? Who made them? Nobody really knows, and everyone loves a good mystery, right? They hint at an Amazon past that's far from the primitive wilderness we imagined. Yet, as we speak, the relentless march of deforestation could erase these clues forever, underscoring a rather desperate race against time for answers. And as the saga continues, who knows what other secrets these puzzling figures will reveal, if we get to them in time, that is. Transitioning to our supposed healing treasures of the rainforest, oh, what a treasure trove of medicinal wonders we're told it houses. Among the greenery, researchers stumble upon what they call lifesavers. Take the jabarandi, an unassuming shrub, now the glaucoma warrior with its miracle compound, pilocarpine. It's like stumbling upon a hidden well in a desert, except it's in a lush, overhyped garden. Then there's ipecac, the go-to plant for when you need to, well, purge. It's the supposed fix-it-all for your stomach and beyond. How quaint. And let's not forget our dear friend cocoa, plucked right from the heart of the rainforest. It's not just a treat for your taste buds. It's heralded as a knight in shining armor against heart disease, a wizard for your brain, and a little beam of sunshine for your mood. Apparently, a staggering quarter of our modern medicines owe a hat tip to the Amazon. But remember, this is just scratching the surface of the so-called infinite pharmacy hiding in the green folds of the rainforest. Quite the narrative, isn't it? The rainforest, our benevolent healer, just waiting to be discovered. If only we'd pay attention. Let's dive into the heart of the Amazon, the so-called epicenter of the unexplained, where the whispers of the hornbeast of Baia refuse to die down. This oddity, supposedly snapped by a wide-eyed 15-year-old filled with a mix of bravery and maybe a bit too much curiosity in 2007, serves up a real head-scratcher, a figure eerily human-like, topped with a skull that wouldn't look out of place in a horror flick, complete with jutting horns. Picture running into that on a leisurely jungle stroll. Now, as this peculiar snapshot took its merry little jaunt around the globe, the armchair detectives got to work. Was this so-called horn beast an escapee from the underworld, a lost creature, or just a figment of collective imagination gone wild? And let's not gloss over the mysterious bundle it's clutching. Could it be a mini-beast or some arcane tool from the depths of the unknown? But here's where the plot thickens. What's the backstory of this creature? Did it just pop out for a breath of fresh Amazon air, or was it wandering with a purpose? And more tantalizingly, where has it vanished to? We're left clutching at straws. Could this be just a local covered in the day's mud bath? Or are we touching the fringe of the unexplored, a slice of the Amazon's private collection of mysteries? This photo, shrouded in jungle mist and intrigue, keeps us on our toes. It's like the Amazon's very own cliffhanger. Is this creature a silent guardian of hidden realms, an undiscovered marvel of nature, or simply a trick of light and shadow? That skull-like mug and those eerie horns, what are they for? Decoration? Intimidation? A Halloween early bird? Finally, we're at the end. What else will Amazon throw at us? More bizarre tales from the world's biggest garden, no doubt. Chapter 5. Sahara's Secret Gift to the Amazon. Let's take a moment to ponder something that sounds more like a plot from a low-budget nature documentary than real life. The whimsical tale of dust traveling from the Sahara to the Amazon. Yes, you heard it right. We're supposed to believe that these two far-flung locales, one a sprawling desert and the other a lush jungle, share a secret handshake through the air. This dust, we're told, is not just any old dust. It's supposedly packed with vital nutrients like phosphorus, making its way across the ocean like some sort of nutrient Santa Claus for the Amazon's needy plants. Now, picture this. A staggering 10 to 18.82 million tons of this so-called precious dust embarks on an annual globe-trotting adventure from Africa to South America. It's as if Mother Nature decided to start her own delivery service, sprinkling the Amazon with this special blend of desert seasoning. But why, you might ask, does this dust desert its homeland to grace the Amazon with its presence? Well, it seems the rainforest's soil is a bit needy, constantly losing nutrients thanks to the never-ending downpours washing them away. Enter Sahara dust, the unlikely hero of this story, swooping in to save the day by replenishing these lost nutrients. It's a bizarre nature-made nutrient cycle that supposedly keeps the Amazon thriving. But let's take a step back and marvel at the sheer oddity of it all. We have a desert, of all places, playing fairy godmother to one of the most biodiverse places on Earth, fulfilling a nutrient deficiency that sounds more like a plot convenience than a scientific fact. Let's get to know the so-called sensational stories that seem to erupt from the depths of the Amazon and the ocean with the dramatic flair of a B-movie plot. First up, we've got the tale of the mysterious white creature that supposedly took a leisurely swim from the uncharted abyss of the ocean to grace an Amazonian beach. This story, captured on video, has set the internet ablaze, transforming armchair skeptics and wide-eyed believers into overnight marine biologists. Here lies this peculiar being, sprawled on the sand, sparking debates and wild theories. Is it an undiscovered species from the ocean's darkest corners? or just a regular sea dweller caught in an unflattering light? The world holds its breath, not really, as it waits for someone with a degree to tell us whether we should actually care. Moving on to our next episode of Jungle Mysteries Unleashed, we stumble upon a creature decked out in sleek black fur, complete with dexterous hands and a slinky tail. Cue the dramatic music as explorers scratch their heads, pondering whether they've stumbled upon a castaway from a bygone era or just nature's latest prank. Questions abound, imaginations run wild, and suddenly, everyone's an expert on evolutionary biology, debating whether this creature is a relic of the past or a new poster child for genetic anomalies. But let's pause for a moment and inject a dose of reality here. The Amazon, with all its biodiversity, is indeed a place where the unusual can become the usual. Yet, every time something slightly out of the ordinary pops up, we're expected to gasp in amazement, as if Mother Nature herself just pulled a rabbit out of a hat. These mysterious creatures stir up a storm of curiosity, speculation, and, let's be honest, a fair bit of sensationalism. So, what's the verdict? Are we witnessing groundbreaking discoveries that will redefine our understanding of life as we know it? Or are we simply being entertained by the natural world's version of a plot twist? The real question might be, which narrative sells better? The Amazon and its oceanic counterpart continue to serve as the backdrop for these intriguing tales, each new discovery supposedly more shocking than the last. Is the Amazon hiding secrets beyond our wildest imaginations, or are these stories just elaborate hoaxes for the digital age? Dive into the debate and decide for yourself. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most shocking mysteries.